This week on Cook with Cabela's, I'm at the home of Cabela's Pro staffers Scott and Tiffany Haugen. What's really interesting about this location is it's the first place pheasants were ever introduced in the U.S.
Yeah.
So you probably know a little bit about cooking pheasants.
Right close to our house. We hunt them a lot, and the boys hunt them. Scott and I love hunting them.
That's great, and I'm from the Great Plains. We have a lot of pheasants. It's what I grew up doing. I love pheasant hunting, so what are we going to cook today?
We're going to do a couple of different things. Pheasants are so versatile. I think the biggest challenge is to make sure to keep that meat moist.
That's right. They're a little dry, and you're
delicate.
usually going to skin a pheasant because they're difficult to pluck. They take a long time, that skin tears, so usually you're going to skin a pheasant. So, what are we going to do first?
So we're gonna smoke up some whole pheasants.
All right.
And there's not a lot of things I like to do with whole pheasants because I really like separating the breast meat from the legs and thighs because they cook quite differently. That breast meat is very delicate and just needs a flash in the pan or just a sear on the grill. And you can almost serve that a little medium rare-ish and it will be just fork tender, really good. The legs and thighs, you know, they need a little bit more work. But since we're going to be smoking these whole birds, we'll be able to use them in different ways once the meat is smoked up.
All right.
So we'll get some good flavor in there.
That's right. Smoked pheasants is one of my favorite dishes. And you're right. I mean, pheasants are a little challenging to cook because the breasts get a little dry and the legs, they spend a lot of time running, so those legs get a lot of tendons in them, so you want to cook it low and slow usually. But if we're doing it whole, let's get it in the smoker.
Yeah, so what we've got here is a brine.
Okay.
I've already soaked these overnight, and it's about, you know, you can use your own brine, you can buy
There's
a brine.
commercial brines available,
Yeah,
right?
mine's about a quart of water to 3 tablespoons of salt, and just about a tablespoon of garlic, tablespoon of onion, tablespoon of white pepper.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, spice it up any way you like. This is a real simple one. There's no sweetener added in this
Okay.
one,
So
it's
no
just
sugar
going to
in
be,
it? Okay.
just going to be a salt brine. So yeah, what we want to do when you're getting these ready to put on the pellet grill, you really want to make sure they're drained. You can put them on a rack and kind of spread them out there so they drain and dry just a little bit.
I'm going to pat that dry a
Sure,
little bit too, because
yeah.
you really, for that smoke to adhere, you really want that dry.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and you can leave them, you know, sitting out for, you know, half hour to an hour depending on your weather.
Excellent point.
So get a little air dry going.
Or even just sit them in the fridge for a little bit just to dry off uncovered. So, all right.
Yep, so we can get all these out of the brine, get them kind of off there. And this is the time, if you wanted to add a little more pepper or any kind of a dry seasoning, you could put that on now, right before you put it on the grill.
Yep.
Since I didn't put any sugar in this, toward the end, if we want to brush it with honey, have a little honey glaze on there.
A little maple syrup is one of my favorites.
A lot of different things you can do when you're smoking these birds. But let's get them on the grill.
So they're going to go on the smoker. All right. We got the Cabela's pellet grill fired up, and what temperature are we setting this at today?
You know, it depends. If you want to slow smoke them, you're going to want to keep them under 180. But if you want to smoke them a little faster, kind of smoke cooking, you can go to 220.
Okay.
So I think we'll do 220 just so we can eat a little faster.
And the Cabela's pellet grill has a pretty cool sign. There's a low smoke and a high smoke, and the high smoke should be about 220.
Yep, that low smoke should stay under 180.
All right,
and
well, I'll get these on the grill.
And you can actually slide an oven thermometer in there if you want to keep track of the temperature.
That's right.
And if it starts getting too hot, you just need to lift the lid every once in a while, cool it down. But the really neat thing I like about these pellet grills is the internal cooking thermometer that's built in.
That's right. We have the probe right over here.
Yep, so we can go ahead and put that probe. Let's put it into the breast meat of one of these.
And you just want it right in the thick part of that breast. Is that right? All right.
You know, it's almost as handy as that thing that pops out when the Butterball turkey's
That's right,
done.
same deal. We got that Cabela's pellet grill is pretty cool because it has the temperature gauge on there, and we can just kind of watch that.
Yeah, and all kinds of meats you can use that with, and that's again just a way to make sure you're not overcooking or undercooking your game.
Perfect. Well, we're going to close that up.
All right.
What's next?
Next, we're going to do some legs and thighs, and like I said, we really like to separate out the legs and thighs for most of our cooking with pheasants. And again, putting that breast meat on the grill like a saute or in stir fry or
on a skewers, whatever.
Yeah, all of that stuff. So then you end up with these nice legs and thighs, and when you look at them, you know, it's kind of like a chicken leg or thigh.
Yep.
There's not a lot of meat there.
No.
There is a lot of connective tissue and a lot of tendons in here.
That's right.
So to just throw this on the grill, you're going to end up with something pretty tough.
Pretty tough, pretty chewy.
Yeah, hard to get to the meat. So low and slow is just the way to go.
That's perfect.
Dutch oven, slow cooker, roaster. We're going to be using oven bags. I really like these. This is, you know, these have been around for a long time. My mom didn't know how to cook meat very well. I remember growing up, we had everything in an oven bag. Because it's very forgiving.
That's
because it'll keep the moisture in.
Yeah, it creates a really moist environment there where you're just braising that.
Yeah.
Or wet roasting it almost.
Yep. So these are a garlic and beer legs and thighs here.
Two of my favorite things.
Yeah, so we're going to put those in.
All right.
And we'll put those in with about, you know, one sliced onion.
Oh, perfect.
and 6 cloves of garlic. If you like a lot of garlic, you can put 10 or 12 in there if you want to. It's slow cooking, so that garlic's just gonna melt into it.
Exactly, it's gonna be a really mellow garlic
yeah,
flavor.
Yeah,
so.
and about 1.5 tablespoons of flour, because that'll mix with the beer and it'll make us a little gravy in there.
A little gravy right
So we're just gonna sprinkle that in. And then I'm gonna use the roasted garlic and beer. Did you have Cabela's make this?
Just for me, garlic and beer.
So, you know, nice to have this seasoning all already done up for us. You know, a couple tablespoons of that in there. And then, of course, a beer.
And it's a local Oregon beer as well. So.
And it's funny, I don't like beer at all, but I love to cook with it.
Yeah, that's a great ingredient for cooking. Anytime you're doing a braise.
Yeah.
And I don't think you want anything like really bitter, like an IPA or anything. It's going to be a little too much. So we just have a nice amber ale.
Yeah.
Just something that adds some flavor, but you can really experiment with the kind of beers that you're using when you're cooking with beer. You know, like a Guinness and a dark beer is wonderful for cooking as well. So.
But is it like wine where you don't want to use a beer that you wouldn't drink kind of thing, or?
I like all beer. So.
All right, so if you don't want to use beer, apple juice is amazing in this.
Or a little chicken stock, or a little pheasant stock, which I think you're going to show us to make as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Those onions will not only keep moisture in there, but they're also sweet, so they're going to add a sweet flavor to that meat as well. So what we're going to do is just get that bundled up there.
Okay, so you don't even tie it, you just twist it up and kind of tuck it underneath.
I can just twist it. I'm going to put 1 slit in the top before I put it in the oven, so you do want some steam to be able to escape. I'm just going to take that in, put it in the oven. You know, that's just going to slow cook on 300, 325 for, you know, 1-2 hours. Just, you know, you reach in there, see if they're tender, and wait till it's fallen off the bone.
What you're saying is we can get everything in the oven today, and then we can just kick back for the rest of the day.
Of course,
and we'll have a great supper tonight. So I think we're going to show us how to make a little stock. Is that correct?
Well, we'll do that with the carcasses of the smoked birds. So we'll when we wrap that up.
We'll get that in the oven. The smoker's going. Check back with us in just real quick, and we'll be ready to go. Tiffany, this morning we got some pheasants started on the smoker. You also got some pheasant legs in the oven for a few hours.
Yep.
These look wonderful. So I'm going to try these first. Those are falling off the bone already. So I got to try this smoked pheasant. I mean, this was on the pellet grill for, I'm guessing, about 6 hours. Got up to about 150 degrees.
Yeah, we kept it at under 200 degrees. I think it hovered about 180 the whole time.
Yep.
Using that internal thermometer, we were able to take them off. They still actually look nice and moist.
Look how moist they are. Beautiful color. I know these are going to be great with some nice hickory flavor on them. That's thumbs up.
All right. Once you get most of the meat off these pheasants, you can just toss them in a stock pot with some water, onions, carrots, celery. You will have the most flavorful stock ever. Plus, you can pick all the rest of that meat off that you've missed out on.
Some noodles or something like that.
Yeah, so I want you to try these. The legs and thighs, they slow cooked in an oven bag.
That's right.
You know, they went a little over 2 hours. You know, pretty forgiving with that liquid. You could go 3 hours if you wanted to.
That's
but
right.
You can see they're falling off the bone, so give that a try. That garlic beer seasoning.
Beer seasoning, garlic and beer in the bag with it.
Yep, and you see those onions have all caramelized around.
I don't even know if I need this fork.
I even see a couple pieces of garlic that I bet are just delicious.
Exactly. And that's just, I can barely pick it up with the fork. That's how good
I just sprinkled it with a little fresh parsley.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
That's good, but that's even better. And that's the legs. I mean, a lot of people don't know what to do with those.
Yeah, that meat can be tough to get off, but you let the cooking do the work.
I mean, if I picked one of those bones up, that meat would fall right off. That's how tender that is and how flavorful. So, Tiffany, I've had a great time here at your house. Thanks to you and Scott for having me. And thank you for joining us this week on Cook with Cabela's. Come back next week. We'll have another great meal in store for you.